Buckingham Palace, part-time residence of the Queen, the kennels to some small ugly dogs ridiculously named after a gas fitter, and home over the years to many a royal scandal. We have George III to thank for this great palace, for it was he who purchased it in 1761 for his wife Catherine, the then Queen. But what I want to know is, just how much do our burger-munching friends from across the waves actually know about this holy royal kingdom? And if the answer is nothing, will they fall for my short poetic licensed history lesson? What can you tell us about Buckingham Palace, anything?
We just missed it, actually. We've been trying to look for it for about 3 days.
You've been looking for Buckingham Palace?
Yeah.
I'll just give you a little clue. It's just down there. How old do you think the palace is?
It's about, I think it was built in the beginning of 16 something.
You're not too far out. Actually, the modern day palace that stands there was actually built in around about 1750. I'm doing the interview here. I'll give you the facts. Do you know what that used to be? That great palace used to be a bingo hall. A huge bingo hall. I kid you not. I wouldn't lie to you, Brittany. It was called the Palace 89. And what happens is, one day, an American comes over, and he's in there, and he's talking to the owner of this place, who's somebody called Louis Walsh, this Irish bloke. And the bloke is saying, Louis saying, I'm a little bit broke, it's going wrong. And the American, his name was Lord Ingham, offers to buy the palace. Do you know how much he brought it for?
$5.
No, he brought it for $1. Very close, very good. And then he comes over with his family, and he thinks, I'm going to rename it and move them in. So what he does is, he brought it for $1, so he takes the buck, he takes his name, Ingham, yeah? See where I'm going with this? So it makes Buck
Ingham.
And then Palace, because it used to be a bingo hall. Can you believe that?
I believe it. American ingenuity.
And then in 1763, he sold it to our then King George III. What do you think about that?
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Okay, that's a good story though, yeah.
Westminster Abbey, one of London's oldest and most beautiful buildings, steeped in over 1,000 years of history and tradition, and at the very heart of this great city. On the 25th of December 1066, William the Conqueror chose this building to be crowned King of England in over any other venue in the entire country. Probably due to the fact that he couldn't speak any English and would have done anything to get his dirty French mitts on our crown. That's a story for another time. Time to say hello to our tongue-tied transatlantic touristic travellers. Would you believe me if I told you that the building standing behind you was only 100 years old?
No.
You wouldn't? Right, okay, I thought you'd say that, but let me tell you a little secret, about Westminster Abbey that they tried to keep from all of us people for over 110 years. In 1901, there was a small earthquake here in Britain, in London, this very site, and the original building was destroyed. Now, the problem was the fact that it was such a great tourist site, even in the early 1900s, that they had to pretend that it wasn't knocked down. And it was actually redesigned and built by Mr. Lovell Holmes, right, who was a famous architect at the time. Now, the amazing thing was about this earthquake is that nobody passed away because they were all at the cup final watching Barnsley play against Arsenal Hotspurs. Have you heard of them?
Hey, well, yeah, I have.
And you know what? The United Nations signed an agreement, a pact, that all the nations around the world wouldn't tell anybody because they knew it would affect tourism. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's clever for tourism, but it's not so nice.
How come you know about this?
Because, believe it or not, my dad, right, once worked for the BULLCRAP, which stands for Buildings Under Licensing Law Creation Recreation Agreement Policy, known in the hood as Bull Crapea, right? And basically he told me that.
Really?
It's true.
Is it?
Yes, it is. It's totally true.
Ding, ding, ding.
The final stop on our tour today brings us here to St Paul's Cathedral, without doubt one of the most striking and iconic images on the London skyline. The current cathedral behind me is actually the fourth to stand on this site. Built between 1675 and 1710, it was famously designed by Sir Christopher Wren, the then reigning Britain's Got Talent architect champion. Today, the cathedral is visited by over 2 million tourists and worshippers on a yearly basis, making the current Dean of St Paul's, the Right Reverend Graham Knowles, more popular than the Vicar of Dibley, even at the width of her fame. Do you know who designed it?
No, please, can you tell me?
Yes, I can. It was Sir Christopher Wren. Now, a wren is obviously a very famous creature. Do you know what a wren is?
No, can you tell me that too?
Yeah, well, it's actually a badger, so you'll be okay with that one. Obviously, St Paul was a patron saint of something. Do you know what he's a patron saint of?
No.
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a patron saint of plumbers.
Okay.
There are actually 2 tunnels in St Paul's Cathedral, right underground, yeah? One of them runs to Buckingham Palace, and the other one runs right round the corner to a Starbucks.
Wow.
It's amazing, that, isn't it? My friend came here 2 weeks ago. He went down the tunnels. Nobody saw him.
Yeah, but I read it on the news.
Did you see?
I think it was that case in which the safety of the palace was questioned.
Absolutely. You see the steeple, right up the top there, the steeple. Now, if you placed a mouse at the bottom of the stairs, yeah, it would take him 8 years to get all the way to the top.
Wow, yeah.
It's actually 8 years, unless, of course, you dangle a piece of cheese in front of a mouse, because then it goes a bit quicker, then it's 6 years. Oh, she laughed. If you were to take all the bricks there, my friend, lay them out on the ground, how far do you think you could walk to? Where would you end up?
I don't know, maybe 50 meters?
10 kilometers?
Well, it may astound you to know, Canada.
Canada, really?
There are that many bricks. There are so many bricks you could get all the way to Canada. That's incredible. It's
amazing.
It's totally. I can't really believe it myself, but it's true.
I have no idea.
Canada.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Bye.